You said you were bringing a modern edge to it.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it.
Could Rachel Zegler's Hollywood reign really be over? Allegations are swirling about her career hitting a dead end after back-to-back box office disasters. From Y2K to the controversial Snow White remake, insiders suggest Hollywood may have finally had enough. Is this the end of her stardom? Let's uncover the truth. Rachel Zegler's rise to stardom was the kind of story Hollywood dreams are made of. A talented young woman, plucked from relative obscurity, captured the world's attention with her role as Maria in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. It was a breakthrough that transformed her from a high school performer into one of the most talked about new faces in the industry. Her journey felt like a fairy tale. Media outlets praised her unique blend of Polish and Colombian heritage, presenting her as a modern icon who could bridge diverse audiences. Critics raved about her performance, and the buzz around her name seemed unstoppable.
And I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out.
She was cast in high-profile projects like Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Disney's live-action Snow White. But what happens when the spotlight starts to dim? Despite her initial success, Rachel's journey is now taking an unexpected turn. Hollywood is an industry that thrives on reinvention, but it also has little patience for missteps. How did Rachel go from being the industry's next big thing to facing questions about her future? The answer lies in a series of career moves and controversies that began to unravel her seemingly perfect trajectory. The first major crack in Rachel Zegler's career appeared with the release of Y2K. Hailed as an innovative take on a culturally significant moment, the film's premise sparked initial curiosity. Unfortunately, the buzz didn't translate to box office success. Y2K debuted in 9th place, a dismal opening that signaled trouble. 2 weeks later, the film's theatrical run was cut short, with streaming platforms picking it up in an attempt to salvage viewership. Critics were ruthless, pointing out the movie's lack of direction and missed opportunities. The premise had potential, but poor execution turned it into a chaotic mess that audiences struggled to connect with. Adding to the disappointment, Y2K earned one of the lowest Rotten Tomatoes scores in A24's history. For a studio known for producing critically acclaimed films, this was a significant blow. Even Rachel's performance couldn't escape scrutiny, as many felt she was miscast as a high school beauty and a genius computer nerd. The failure of Y2K wasn't just a blemish on Rachel's filmography, it marked the beginning of a downward spiral. Hollywood insiders began to whisper, was Rachel's star power fading faster than expected? Little did anyone know, this was just the start of a much larger fallout. While the failure of Y2K was bad, it pales in comparison to the storm surrounding Disney's live-action Snow White. From the moment Rachel Zegler was cast in the iconic role, the project faced a barrage of criticism. Fans questioned her suitability, pointing out the disconnect between her portrayal and the beloved fairy tale character. The controversy only deepened with the release of the teaser trailer, garnering over 1.4 million downvotes against just 100,000 upvotes. It became clear that audiences were not on board. Negative comments flooded social media, with many criticizing the modernized interpretation of the classic story. Behind the scenes, Disney scrambled to manage the fallout, reportedly spending millions on reshoots to salvage the project. The budget skyrocketed to a staggering $350 million, raising doubts about the film's profitability. Rachel's public persona added fuel to the fire. Her outspoken nature and controversial comments further alienated fans, making it difficult for Disney to generate positive buzz. Instead of rallying around her, audiences grew more critical. The backlash wasn't limited to the film. It extended to Rachel herself. Fans questioned her ability to embody the innocence and charm that Snow White represents. Could one project really cause so much damage? As it turns out, the drama surrounding Snow White was far from over. Rachel Zegler's social media presence has been a double-edged sword. While it initially helped her connect with fans, her frequent and outspoken posts have drawn increasing criticism. She has often addressed her identity as a white Latina, a comment that sparked heated debates about her casting choices. Rather than softening her approach, Rachel doubled down, sharing her discomfort with certain roles while continuing to accept them. For some, this came across as contradictory, and her words began to overshadow her performances. Fans who once supported her started to see her as out of touch, while critics accused her of being entitled. What made matters worse was Rachel's response to criticism. Instead of diffusing tensions, her remarks often escalated the situation. Her comments about being paid for every hour her work streams rubbed many the wrong way, leading to accusations of entitlement. The disconnect between her on-screen roles and off-screen persona became increasingly difficult to ignore. Hollywood thrives on stars who can win over audiences both on and off the screen, and Rachel's public image began to work against her. Could this be why major studios are now treading cautiously around her? The gap between Rachel's online presence and her cinematic performances raises serious questions about her future in the industry. Hollywood has always been quick to build up stars, and even quicker to tear them down. Rachel Zegler's recent trajectory is a prime example of how unforgiving the industry can be. While her initial success made her a media darling, the tide has clearly turned. A telling sign of this shift came when Variety published a scathing article about Rachel's career. Written by Tatiana Siegel, known for her hard-hitting industry critiques, the piece read like a career obituary. It pointed out how divisive Rachel had become, something Disney could no longer afford in its new, more cautious era. When an outlet like Variety turns on a star, it's rarely just an opinion. Industry insiders see such articles as a reflection of broader sentiment. The whispers behind closed doors suggest that Rachel's outspoken nature and recent flops have made her a risky choice for future projects. Even Disney, which initially stood by her, seems to be in damage control mode. The article hinted that Rachel's controversial comments and public persona might no longer align with the studio's evolving playbook. If Hollywood's patience has truly run out, Rachel faces an uphill battle to regain her footing. So what's next for Rachel Zegler? While her recent projects have underperformed, it's not unheard of for stars to make a comeback. Some Hollywood actors have turned career slumps into opportunities for reinvention. Could Rachel follow a similar path? Her future likely depends on how she handles the backlash. Will she take time to reflect, recalibrate, and choose her next steps carefully? Or will she double down on the same strategies that led her here? Hollywood loves a redemption story, but it requires humility and a willingness to evolve. Rachel's talent isn't in question. Her performances in West Side Story and other films prove she has what it takes. The real challenge lies in repairing her public image and regaining the trust of both audiences and industry professionals. Only time will tell if Rachel can turn things around. One thing is certain, the road ahead won't be easy, and every move she makes will be under intense scrutiny. Rachel Zegler's rapid rise and potential fall highlight the unpredictable nature of Hollywood fame. One moment, a star is celebrated as the face of a new generation, and the next, they're the subject of harsh criticism and industry doubt. Her story serves as a cautionary tale for aspiring actors, reminding us that talent alone isn't enough to ensure a lasting career. Public perception, personal choices, and the ability to handle criticism all play significant roles in determining a star's longevity. Moreover, her story raises broader questions about Hollywood's current climate. Are studios placing too much emphasis on a star's social media presence and less on their ability to connect with audiences on screen? Could the industry itself be contributing to the rise and fall of its stars by prioritizing marketability over substance? Rachel's future remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. Her next moves will define her legacy. Will she defy the odds and stage a comeback, or will she fade into obscurity like so many others before her? Only time will tell, but her journey is far from over. What's your take on Rachel's situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below and stick around for more deep dives into Hollywood's most intriguing stories. You won't want to miss what's coming next.